Welcome back to the Vandy Sports Podcast. I'm Joey Dwyer. He's Billy Derrick. We're here from Memorial Gymnasium after Vanderbilt's third straight loss, an 80-62 loss to Boston College. It's going to be a quad 3 loss for Vanderbilt in all likelihood, and Memorial Gym just felt dreary and dark and kind of eerie tonight, Billy. And I think a lot of that was not due to what happened on the floor. It was obviously a lot of stuff that happened this weekend with the Lee Dort arrest, and you could see Vanderbilt's players came out flat, and I think we're hurting a bit, frankly. Just a tough night for Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Want to read our ad first. Today's show is presented by the Wash House, which is our presenting sponsor for basketball season. Are you dreading laundry day? Is it stealing time to do the things you truly enjoy? Let the laundry professionals at the Wash House take care of that for you. With 2 convenient locations in the greater Nashville area, just drop off your dirty laundry, and our professional attendants can give you back the one thing you can never have enough of, which is your time. Just drop off your dirty laundry, and our professional attendants can give you back the one thing you can never have enough of, your time. Did I already say that?
I think you did.
Yeah.
That's
Within
okay.
24 hours, second game of the day, Billy. Within 24 hours, you can pick up your nicely folded, fresh and clean laundry ready to be put away, and check out www.washhouseclean.com. Stop in today and get your time back. Vanderbilt just never seemed to fully get into a rhythm, and when it did, it's younger guys today. I think it's been a challenging couple days on the guys, like we mentioned. Ezra Magnon just looked gutted in the post-game presser. Wanted to go a little easy on him as opposed to Stack, and even that was a little difficult to hear Stack talk that way about what his team's gone through the last couple days. And ultimately, though, I think the metrics don't really care, and Vanderbilt's not in a good spot in those. At the end of last season, when Vanderbilt didn't make the tournament, it had 2 quad 3 losses and a quad 4 loss. And Billy, tonight, as of tonight, they have 2 quad 3 and a quad 4 loss, and their margin of victory hasn't been good.
Yeah, I hate making excuses, Joey, after any game, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. But I think there is an excuse tonight, and fans can berate me for that, all they want. But they had a tough situation over the weekend, of course, with Lee Dort, and Stackhouse opened his post-game presser with that. And I mean, human nature, that has an effect on you as a player.
One person's actions can affect a lot of people, and that happened.
Yeah, I mean, 2 days later, you got to play a game against, a lower tier ACC team, but it's a Division I basketball team with a really good post player, and Quentin Post.
He was
good,
unbelievable.
22 points, I think, and then Harris.
He got the 2 garbage time free throws, 24.
Yeah, Harris had 24. Harris had 22 as well. And, Vanderbilt couldn't afford to have Post go off the way he did. He didn't have 30 or 40, but, 24 was enough. And it's like every bucket was like, it just kind of every Post bucket was just kind of a dagger. They hit big shots. Credit to Boston College. I want to give credit to them. I mean, they hit some tough guarded shots that, seemingly everybody hits here, especially
Some
on
of
the
that's not guarding, though.
Right.
At some point.
Right, but I mean, I think a lot of them were guarded, and they were they hit some tough shots. So Stack mentioned Arizona State a few nights ago. Gaffney went off for 5 for 5 from 3, and we talked about that. But again, I think it can go both ways, right? Poor defense tonight overall. You give up 80 points anytime you give up 80 points. Really, no matter who you're playing. I mean, you could be playing, like, basketball's a high-scoring affair most nights. I think Tennessee and North Carolina was in the hundreds, 90. Arkansas, Duke was pretty high-scoring. But I just think for Vanderbilt right now, the defense has to be better. And, Stackhouse, when you asked him about the defense, I don't think it was a great answer. I mean, I just think they can't really put their finger on a lot of it right now, just like us. I mean, we're like talking to Chris the other day, and it, with football too, like it's just kind of hard to put words together anymore. And I'm not joking about that. I mean, we're being serious. Like it's hard to kind of quantify a lot of these things. And I asked you up there tonight in the Crow's Nest, why are there so many struggles? And of course, a lot going on with this program the last couple of days, but it's just hard to answer these things. And after the game, I felt like Stack was struggling for some answers as well, which is not a good sign. So fans obviously are not struggling for answers. We know, of course, how they feel. But at the end of the day, Joey, this team has not been good enough, nearly good enough. I know I put out an excuse of what happened over the weekend, but Saturday, if they come out flat again, that's when you have serious issues. Not that there aren't already. Alabama A&M, I think, lost to Lipscomb by 20.
And we're down by 41.
And, yeah, I mean, they did beat TSU, but nonetheless, this team is just not in year 5 not where they should be. Stack said that. I thought I respected that. He said, before the season, we did not think we were going to be in this spot. I don't think anybody did. And for them to be in that spot is obviously disappointing for everybody. So at the end of the day, Joey, it's about finding some hope. Can you find hope Saturday? Not really. You're playing an Alabama A&M team. If you struggle and win by 10, that's not going to be good. Even if you win by 30, it's like, okay, you beat Alabama A&M. So I think it's probably going to have to wait for San Francisco, Texas Tech, games like that to step up and be competitive. I think this team can be better. I think they can play better. I don't really buy the chemistry thing of not having all 5 guys together. I mean, I know they technically haven't, but, Ezra Mannion was back tonight. I thought he had 16 points. When we talk about bright spots, he was kind of the lone bright spot. And
Jason Rivera-Torres, too.
Jason Rivera-Torres in the second half. Didn't play much in the first half, which I thought was questionable, but he played well in the second half. I thought Carter Lang keeps getting better and better, every night. And he didn't, he wasn't blowing the brakes off anybody tonight, but I thought he played decent. Tyron Lawrence struggled, which I think is interesting. That can't happen. I mean, 6 points, 2 for 4. 4 field goal attempts. I don't understand that. So there's a lot of questions to be answered right now, and there's not a lot of answers for those questions.
I just look back. Probably my 2 main things tonight is they can't guard, and I don't know how much that gets better. I think Colin Smith's going to help, but they don't have a rim protector. Stack essentially said that. I don't think they guard super well on the perimeter, and offensively, the ball didn't move. The ball stuck a lot. There was a lot of over dribbling. When I go to Lipscomb in the morning and watch them play Chattanooga and the ball's just buzzing around the 3-point line, and then I come here and see somebody taking 10 dribbles and going into the lane and shooting a contested shot, it's night and day difference.
Yeah.
And it's hard to pinpoint some issues, but it's also easy because you look at their offense and it's just not flowing. At one point they had 2 assists to 9 turnovers. That got better as the game got out of hand a little bit, but I think that's really telling. Quentin Post, I think, gave them a lot of issues, and that was a little foreshadowing for me to see what Quentin Post did to them. And now that they don't have Lee Dort, I don't know how you defend a guy like that. Colin Smith, I think, could help. You could maybe throw some bodies at him, throw 2 guys at him. Quentin Post, I think you could have lived with having 20 points. I think you could have had a lot more than that. What you can't live with is Quentin Post having 24 on good efficiency and also stepping out and hitting threes. And also Boston College's guards getting to their spots and hitting good looks and getting good looks. Just felt like there was one team that had their legs under it tonight and was moving it, was defending.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt was not that team. And you kind of see the path we've seen all along where its guards have to carry them. And Tyron Lawrence not having the performance that he needed to have tonight kind of did Vanderbilt in, and Ezra Mannion obviously wasn't 100% or anything of the sort. I didn't really get playing Rivera-Torres so late. I thought he's shown enough to be able to play in the first half. Sack said there's issues that we haven't seen with him, but man, he's putting it on the floor better than just about anyone on this roster right now. And Billy, there's so much to dissect here, but they just have so many issues right now.
Yeah.
You don't get to 3 and 4 without it.
No, and Joey, you're a baseball guy, right? Cubs fan, right? You talk about pitchers having out pitches all the time. A lot of teams have out pitches, even this early, right? They know Tennessee has a guy like a Dalton Knecht they can go to. Kentucky have an X factor like a Reed Shepherd. I mean, there's players all across the SEC, all across the country that you can give the ball to and say, hey, go get me a bucket. I don't think Vanderbilt has that right now. I think Mannion can be that. I think Tyron Lawrence can be that. They're not having it right now. They're not getting that. They don't have an out pitch right now, right? When the shot clock's going down, what are they doing? I mean, I don't know that I'm sure they have a plan, but they're not executing.
And they're not getting to their offense until late in the shot clock. It feels like there's a lot of dribbling.
They're letting the opponent dictate everything, in most of these games. Arizona State, a bad team, they dictated that game. Boston College played their style tonight. NC State, I thought Vanderbilt, they hung in there and they fought. We haven't talked about that really yet much at all, but I did think that NC State game was better. But even still, NC State was able to do pretty much what they wanted. Vanderbilt has not been able to do what they wanted, but I also think what they want, are they clear about what they want, right? Do they even, know what they want possession after possession? I don't think so either. So like you said, Joey, similar to the football discussions throughout the season, there are several issues. You can't pinpoint one. right? Defense, I think, is the biggest issue right now, and physicality. I mean, Quinn Post is not. He's physically imposing, but he's not a DJ Burns.
Mm-hmm.
And Quentin Post was still able to get whatever he wanted. So I'm convinced that Vanderbilt they can't really guard any post player. Really.
They just don't have depth in the front court either.
No.
I think Van Allen Lubin's a fine post defender. I think he's all right.
A lot of pressure on him. Yeah.
Yeah, if he gets 2 fouls in the first half, what do you do? Carter Lang, I think, is a little more physical than people give him credit for, but also is not a guy I'd be comfortable having one-on-one with Quentin Post. Billy, the thing I want most, I think, right now for this team is just the feel that they had in the spring. And I know it's early, and it felt like this a little bit last year. This feels even a little bit different than that. When they were playing Auburn or any SEC team when they were on that run, it felt like this was the place to be in Nashville. And anytime that team took the floor, and Ezra Monyon took the floor, and Tyron Lawrence and Jordan Wright and Liam Robbins took the floor, this was the place to be, and you couldn't miss it. Now, I'd have a hard time justifying paying to get in here if I was a Vanderbilt fan. I don't know that I've had less fun at basketball games. There's just not a whole lot of positive, there's not a whole lot of buzz or excitement or a whole lot to root for right now. It's honestly a little bit sad. I didn't grow up a Vanderbilt fan. I'm not a Vanderbilt fan. I'm objective reporters, but Billy, it's just sad to see how fun it was to be here a couple months ago, and now just how eerie it is in here, and it felt even before the game.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing here. You know, before the game, we were walking through kind of I don't know if you call it the Hall of Fame Hall, or I don't know what they call it, but everybody knows what I'm talking about with all the jerseys and the former players, Shane Foster, all the former players, and that's Vanderbilt's history. That's the program. I mean, this is a historical gem. But after some of these losses, just walking out of here, being in here, it doesn't feel like there's that lore, that mystique really much anymore. Now again, that could change, right? It changed last year, but like you said, it feels bleaker than it was at this point last year, and I remember this point last year, right?
They had a chance at this point last year.
Yeah,
it's still November.
Yeah, you're right, Joey. It's sad, and there's going to have to be a push is going to have to come to a shove, right? When push comes to shove, what's going to happen? I think something's going to have to happen, whether it's this team wakes up, whether this team finds an identity, whether the two guards, Magnon and Lawrence, finally start to play well together and step up. Something has to give. And if it's not sooner rather than later, there's going to be something pretty big to give.
Absolutely. I just think Vanderbilt, like you said, doesn't have an out pitch right now. It doesn't have a guy you can dump it down to in the post. It doesn't have a lot right now.
Yeah.
It can't rely on its 3-ball, which I think is a great equalizer in college basketball. It hasn't defended the 3-point line well. And I don't know if this is the night to rag on this team. I think the numbers do that enough. And Billy, it's hard. It's getting harder and harder to see a path. Just like I mentioned, they didn't make the tournament last year, largely because of the 2 quad 3 losses and the quad 4 loss. Maybe one of Arizona State and BC gets into quad 2. Have a hard time seeing that right now. So you have 2 quad 3s and then Presbyterian and quad 4. You had that last year and you didn't get in largely because of it, as well as your margin of victory. Getting tough to see a path.
Yep. Same thing with football. I mean, right now, but these 2 programs are in a similar spot, really. I mean, Stackhouse in year 5, Clark entering year 4, and in reality, there isn't a ton that's changed since year 1. And I mean, I believe that. I mean, look at year 1 of Clark Lee, look at year 1 of Stackhouse, and marginally, but you know, something has to change, Joe. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's got to change. I think it's got to be quick. Yeah. Because you can get an SEC play, and this gets really, really scary for fans.
Yeah. The thing I look back on is, like, at this point last year, you had your guys, and right now you have some really good players too, but look how young this team is. And I know that's been an excuse for this team. This team shouldn't be this young in year 5, and there's so much roster turnover, and I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of things that aren't all what's happening night in, night out on the floor. I think there's a lot that goes into all that, and I'm a little afraid that even if Vanderbilt turns it around and finds a way to make the tournament, that there's going to be a lot of roster turnover again, and that they'll be back to square one. And it just feels like this program's in a tough spot right now, and it certainly could turn. I think there was a lot of optimism at the end of last year. I think this roster does have some potential in it, but again, just becoming more and more difficult to see the path forward. And I'm not talking big picture necessarily, although that does seem to be applicable. I'm just talking about this season. It's like, even if they go and win 7 SEC games in a row, you still have all the blemishes on your resume. You're probably going to have another one. San Francisco is going to be difficult. Really have fun with that one when I'm at Meadow Boulevard. It's going to be tough. Vanderbilt has to find its groove and get rolling pretty quickly.
Yep. It'll be fun. They got Alabama A&M on Saturday, 4 o'clock. And
Alabama A&M has 21 players on its roster, Billy, and a 15-man rotation. If you thought Jerry Stackhouse selected the head of the bench, oh my goodness. I saw them play at Lipscomb. Billy, they were pulling guys out of the bench that I didn't even know were on the bench.
They pulled you out there to play.
And they could have. And I was about as tall as some of their point guards. So, but we're here from Memorial Gymnasium. I'm Joey Dwyer. Vanderbilt falls to 3-4. He's Billy Derrick. Quentin Post had 24 points as Vanderbilt falls to Boston College and loses his 3rd in a row. We'll be back on Saturday, and hopefully with a little more positive of a tune after seeing Alabama, A&M's 21-man roster and 15-man rotation, and perhaps a Vanderbilt win by maybe a significant margin. I don't think that Alabama A&M team is very good, Billy. So
yeah, this is an opportunity.
It's an opportunity, and Vanderbilt can get back to 500. So for Joey Dwyer, for Billy Derrick, God bless. Thank you all for watching and sticking with us. Thank you to the Washouts, and we'll catch y'all later. Peace.